So you are preparing for AZ-900 examination. But what is the requirement? Why do you want to pass AZ-900? Because you want to switch job or you want to learn cloud. While learning cloud, do you know what is the difference between on-premise and private cloud? And how to implement hybrid cloud? These are one of the most famous questions in interview. And this video will help you to gain knowledge to pass AZ-900 plus ace your interviews. Welcome to the most updated course on YouTube, because even Microsoft Virtual Training Days covers the old topics like SQL databases and IoT devices, but this course covers the latest update in AZ-900 which were made on 5th of May. So without further ado, let us get started, and please do check the description box for additional info. So what we gonna study? We'll firstly study why do we need cloud, then what is cloud, and then we're gonna see the different kinds of cloud, and at last we'll see the difference between private cloud versus on-premises. In case you are interested to know any particular topic, the timestamps are given below in the description box. Please do check that. Now, first and foremost, let us peep into the past. Why actually a company needs a cloud, and what is the basic requirement of each and every company? So every company requires server, network and storages, and also certain company needs opportunities to expand, like my developers need some more servers to work, and of course I need low operational cost and I need less management. I don't want to work a lot. I want someone else to take care of all these things. So let us take a very simple example. Let us imagine that I want to host my website. And as you know what a website takes to host, of course it will take a server to host. Now for example, I want to host one of my websites. So in that website, of course, I'll be requiring a server. That website must be storing some images and video files. So for that, I'll require some databases. And because I want my website to be accessible via Chrome or Edge browser, I also require a network, so that that network can connect my website to my servers and to other things. Because a company also needs some additional resources like mail server, so that they can handle their emails, file server so that they can share the files, so on and so forth. Now what it takes to build these things, it actually whenever I'm building these things, whenever I'm procuring the basic infrastructure which a company needs, like servers, networks and databases, then what I'm doing right now, first and foremost, I had to do a lot of investment. You may have guessed why. Because I'll purchase the infrastructure like servers, networks and databases, I'll maintain them, and I will hire the talented IT staff so that they can manage these diversified workloads. Then I'll have to take care of its operations. That means while it is running, I have to take care of the needs of my developers. If they need more server, I need to purchase them. If they say that the servers we bought maybe 1 or 2 months before are not being used because the traffic is not that much, so I have to just make a bunch of guesses, which is known as capacity planning. So as part of my capacity planning, because we cannot make um, accurate guesses, right? So I have to take care of its operation. Third, even I put a lot of investment, I take a lot of headache in my management, still the risk is all mine. Why do I say the risk is all mine? Because I store all these things in a particular data center. Now, in case of any man-made or natural disaster, maybe it flood, maybe a power outage, anything. If this building is not operational, my engineers are not able to get into the building, the servers are not running because of a power outage, my website will stop working. And the time when the website stops working, then my business will be in trouble. Okay, so what is the solution for it? So the solution, companies decided why to take all of the risk, why to put investment by my own. It's just like my own house. Instead of building my own house, I can take a loan from any bank known as home loan. Why don't I share the responsibilities? Because we all know sharing is caring. So there is something known as virtualization, which personified this concept of sharing is caring. Now, what do I mean by that? How virtualization personified sharing is caring idiom, and how it made our problem easy to solve. So what virtualization does is, for example, this is a 200 GB server, right? And as we know, sharing is caring. What will happen is a number of customers will be using it, like user A, user B. Both of the users will be using the same server. Let me explain you how. So as you know, the capacity of this server is 200 GB. Maybe this user is only asking for 10 GBs, right? And the second user is asking for maybe 50 GBs or 64 GB based on his own requirements. So what happens is, out of the total capacity of 200 GBs, what I'm using it right now, I am just using maybe 16 GB by user 1, and then maybe 32 GBs by user 2. So what happened? Because two users are using this capacity, the cost will be distributed among these two. In case of any hardware failure, the cost of maintenance will be distributed between these two. And this sharing is caring concept helped up in making the cloud. So you may ask me a very simple question. I understood that cloud is able to help the companies, but how it is helping? So cloud computing is nothing but delivery of your computing resources over a network, where you got network access to a shared pool of configurable resources. Now, what do I mean by that? Basically, cloud computing means you are getting network access to a shared pool of configurable resources. Now, what kind of resources we are talking about? We are actually talking about servers, networks, databases. What is a need of every company? We can configure them as per our needs. And this is what cloud computing is. That means getting network access to a shared pool. What do I mean and how it actually works? Let me show you. So what is happening right now, my user A and user B are using this same server, and how it is happening, and what was the first evolution of cloud. This problem was solved by the very first cloud type known as private cloud. So what happened in private cloud, one single organization like maybe ABC company, So this company decided to host their own data center, and in that data center only the users, the employees of this company can access the resources. Now what happened in private cloud is, private cloud may have one or more data centers. It includes one or more data centers. All these data centers are maintained by a single organization, right? So, and how they are accessing the resources, as I said, sharing is caring. How the sharing is made possible in the private cloud. So what happens in a private cloud is, maybe I am an user sitting outside of my office. Maybe my office is in Bangalore. I am not in Bangalore right now, but I want to access my resources, my servers, my databases. Maybe I want to connect to my database, which is hosted in private cloud. So what will happen is, I'll firstly log into my company's network. So what is a network? A network helps you to connect to different uh, devices, just like our mobile networks. And how my user is accessing a devices on my cloud? Via my own private network. Please note, this network is not internet. It is my own private network. It is not internet. So this is how it works in private cloud. So do I need a data center in private cloud? Yes, you do. You need a data center. Now, what is the difference between private cloud and on-premise data center? Don't worry, we're gonna cover it at the last. So, uh, moving to the second kind of cloud. What was the second kind of cloud? Because my problem is still not handled in a very effective manner. In the private cloud also, I need to maintain a database, a data center. Then, how can I solve my problem? So the problem was solved by a public cloud provider, where your resources are actually maintained by a third party cloud provider. Like, it can be Microsoft Azure, it can be Amazon Web Services, it can be Google Cloud Platform. Now, how it works? As you have seen in the diagram, public cloud contains many data centers, and all those data centers are on different geographical locations. You can see East US, you can see UK, that means United Kingdom, Central India, Southeast Asia. And do I need to maintain any physical resources as a customer? No. Do I need to hire any IT staff so that they can maintain this, they can update, they can delete, oh sorry, they can do the patching and all? No. Everything is managed by Microsoft Azure. Then how do I access it? As I said, cloud means that the resources is accessed by the same, the resources are shared. So just like, you just go to your cloud service provider's website, log into their portal, and once you log into their portal, then whatever you ask, your cloud provider will provide it to you. Like for example, if I am a user, what I'll do, I'll simply log into my Azure portal. Once I log into my Azure portal and I selected what service I want and where I want to run it, then I can start working on it. Pretty straightforward. Do I need to maintain my own data center? No, of course not needed, because the data centers are maintained by Microsoft Azure. So how it is different from private cloud. In my public cloud, a third party, a third party provider maintains the data center. And what we are doing, we are simply renting out the resources maintained by these third party provider. Now, maybe I am already having my own data center, but I want to use public cloud because public cloud has many benefits, and we're gonna cover that later in this video. Uh, so I need to choose good from both of the worlds. How can I choose it? So you can take an hybrid approach. That means you are using public cloud plus you are using private cloud. That means your own data centers you are using in addition to Microsoft Azure by connecting Microsoft Azure to your data center. Okay, hopefully the brief overview between the different cloud providers is clear to you. I think it went too technical. Now let me give you an analogy for it. So suppose we have a requirement where we need to drive from Mumbai to Pune and we have 7 people with us. So based on ownership, which 3 options we have so that we can drive from Mumbai to Pune? You can see I can have my own private car. Maybe I have a 7-seater, and if I have a 7-seater car, I can use it. Or I can go for a taxi or I can do carpooling. Now, coming to it one by one. Private cloud is an example of my own car. Just for example, I bought a Mercedes and it cost me 50 lakhs. Now, 25 lakhs were given by me and 25 lakhs were given by my father. That means the relatives of me, that means my wife, my maybe nephew and all, can use my car, and my father's relative like my uncle, their friends can use my car with my father's permission. Just like we talked about private cloud. In the private cloud, only members of a specific organization can use the resources. It's like my own car. So only my relatives can use it. Can you imagine your neighbor without your permission gets into your car? Not possible, of course. So they require your permissions, and that is why private cloud helps you. Only your employees, your users whom you gave permission can access your databases, servers and all. External users cannot use it without your permission. What if you want to share that? Well, if I want to lend my car to someone else, I'll just give them my car keys. Similarly, if I want any user to start accessing my resources, I'll simply give them access to my network and then they can start using it. Right? So, this is how my private cloud looks like. Now, how it is different from public cloud? Public cloud is just like an taxi service like an Ola or Uber. Now what happens in Ola or Uber? Let me show you. You just simply go to the web portal of Ola or Uber. Like for a public cloud, I'll go to portal.azure.com. Then I need to create an account. Just like we create an account for Ola, Uber or any other cab service. Just provide your username and password. And that is why we see that public cloud is secure by default, because without your permissions you cannot start using it. Okay, you can see it is also asking for my authenticator to approve the sign-in request. Once I'm approving it, now bingo, I'm inside my cloud provider. Now remember the diagram. It said that multiple users after logging in they can choose the various data centers of a cloud. Is it? Let us have a look. For example, I want to create a storage account, which is a kind of storage service in Microsoft Azure. Then you can see I can choose a region. Whatever region I want, I can choose it. And I can choose from 60 plus regions. You can see from ranging from Africa to Japan to Korea, you can see a wide list of ranges. Can I use it all of them? Yes. Whatever you need, you can choose in public cloud. And do I need to maintain any data center? Of course not. Just choose. With few clicks, you can choose whatever you need. And that is the power of cloud. Okay, so why do we use a taxi? Whenever you don't want to maintain the petrol, that means the fuel, and you don't want your any kind of management overhead, you just want to rent out the services maintained by your taxi provider. Simply what we do in public cloud. Okay, now I have unique requirements. I have my own car and we need to drive 7 people. My car is a 4-seater car and I really like a dancing doll in my car's dashboard. I cannot go ahead and install a dancing doll on the my taxi service dashboard. It's not permitted. I want a dancing doll and I also have to accommodate that extra 3 people. What can I do? I can do carpooling. I can ask my friend, like, I already have a 4-seater, you also bring your 4-seater car. Then we can happily, with the 2 cars, we can drive 7 people from Mumbai to Pune. Carpooling. That means using best from both of the worlds. And that is where hybrid cloud looks like. Right? So just to sum up, where do you need to maintain your own data centers? You need to maintain your own data centers in case of private and hybrid cloud. Okay. Now, what are the use cases of all three? Very easy. So, as you know, private cloud is not very beneficial. I put a lot of investments and I take all of the risk. So that is why private cloud is only used for legacy purposes. Not very much beneficial nowadays. But private cloud gives me most flexibility, whatever I need. I need a VMware software, I can use it. I need a SATA disk, I can use it. So whatever I need to install, whomever I want to give permissions, we can use it. Now, in case of public cloud, it's for all. It's open to all, just like my taxi service, open to all. Maybe I'm from India, UK, no issues. I'm an individual, or I am a startup, or I am a big corporate like Deloitte or Accenture. It's open to all. Just create an account, pay as you go. That means whatever you create, just pay for that. And don't worry, we're gonna cover about the benefits of cloud. Hybrid, the use cases for hybrid cloud are whenever you are migrating. That means you are shutting down your private data center and now you are moving entirely to the cloud. So for the meanwhile, because you also know a company has terabytes of data. So to transfer the terabytes of data from my data center to Microsoft Azure data center, I need to establish a connection. So in that cases, we implement hybrid cloud for some time, or maybe for I have certain legal requirements. That means I said that the data cannot leave my office building. In that cases, I can use database of my own and I can use a server or anything else from the public cloud, maybe a machine learning model from the cloud. So these were the use cases of public, private and hybrid cloud. And if you, in case you have any doubts, any queries, please do let me know. And also, if you want to have a separate video on the basic IT terminologies like what is a server, network, storage, what is virtualization, please comment down. I'll be happy to make a video on it. Okay, cool. I hope it's clear till now. Then let us answer the famous questions like, first and foremost, how do we implement hybrid cloud? So for implementing hybrid cloud, which is of course a famous interview question, we implement hybrid cloud by using certain Azure services. In case of Microsoft Azure, right? By using Azure Express Route, and we're gonna study about Azure Express Route in AZ-900. So it is a service which connects your data center to Microsoft Azure by using cables. You can also use Azure VPN to connect your private data center and Microsoft Azure. Not only this, if you want your users so that they sign into your private data center and without signing into Microsoft Azure by using your company's email ID which they use an on-premise Active Directory, they want to sign in and access Microsoft Azure resources, you can do it by using Azure AD Connect. So these are some of the topics which we're gonna study on the upcoming videos. So just to reiterate how we implement hybrid cloud, by using services provided by my cloud provider. In case of AWS, we have also the counterparts like AWS VPN, AWS Direct Connect, so on. Right? Moving to the second important interview question, and maybe what you're looking for. What is the difference between on-premise data center and private cloud? Now let me cover it one by one. So, first and foremost, what is the difference? So, what happens in your on-premise is, your on-premises in your on-premise, what happens is you manage the virtualization, right? Secondly, your end users, that means your employees, need to send an email. They need to send an email in case they need extra capacity or they need to delete anything. So just like in our companies, in case we need anything, we just have to send an email with CC to our manager, right? Something like it. So in on-premise, we have these two problems. We have to hire the IT staff so that they can manage the virtualization. Then we need to send emails in case we need extra capacity or we need to delete certain capacity. We do not wish to use the capacity. But in case of private cloud, first and foremost, it includes two or more data centers. That means data centers are the building block of private cloud. Secondly, we get network access. We do not need to send any emails to anyone in our company. Just log into my network, go to my company's portal, and then I can um, see whatever I need. Now, again, just to give you an overview how it actually works, and in case if you don't know what is virtualization. So what happens is, like for example of Microsoft Azure, number of users, like this user, maybe there's some another user, both of them are renting out the capacity. And by using virtualization, what is virtualization? It is just like my apartment. Like maybe in an apartment you have different numbers of flat, like flat 401, flat number 402. Whatever is happening on flat number 402, the person in flat EP-401 does not know it. It's completely private. I do not come to know about it. And that is why virtualization helps you. Whatever user 1 is doing, user 2 will never get to know, though they are using the same server maintained by Microsoft Azure. Uh, that is why we say that virtualization is our savior, and virtualization helped us to use cloud. Both of these users are actually using the same server, and who is taking the responsibility whether this server has the capacity to rent out the users? Maybe it was having a capacity of 64 GBs, 32 GB is rented by this user, another 32 GBs by this user, all 64 GB is eaten up. So who will decide no more users should be given access to this server? Microsoft Azure. We do not need to worry about it. Right. So this is how it works. Hopefully you are now clear between how do we implement hybrid cloud and how do we ace interviews by telling that what is the difference between on-premise data center and private cloud. Now let us have a do it yourself question. So this is your question, and I'll require all of you to attempt this question and put the answers in the chat. And if you need, I can create a separate playlist of questions on AZ-900. Right. Now, thank you so much for joining in, and please provide your feedbacks, doubts in the comment. I will be happy to answer each and every query of yours. Thank you so much.